The AI hype is returning, and I don't think that people are actually prepared for this. We definitely have to talk about this. I'm going to be addressing 10 projects that I think everyone should have an eye out on for, at least, have them on your watch list. You don't have to add all 10 to your portfolio, obviously. But, just having some exposure to like one or two of these should set you on a solid path to not only have a ton of ROI in your portfolio by the end of the cycle, but also give you some exposure to one of the biggest narratives brewing right now around crypto. So with that being said, welcome to the channel, everyone. My name is Nick. For those that are new to the channel, hopefully by the end of this video, you do become a subscriber. And also, if you guys are not in the free Discord, you should definitely join up. It's down in the description below, and there's a ton of useful information in there and valuable, insights around the space. So with that in mind, let's talk about a few things. So recently, we have been seeing some very big moves being made by Trump. He's actually been naming a lot of individuals around the White House picks to work on AI, crypto, and more. We now know that as we really kind of usher into 2025, the role of the U.S. around this tech revolution happening before our eyes with the convergence of AI and crypto, it's becoming a very big spotlighted topic. And I do think that this is going to be a very big narrative for a lot of individuals to actually kind of cling on to make a ton of money. And I do think that the retail sector is not blind to this. They are going to see this as a huge opportunity for ROI. And I do think that we're going to see a lot of money flood into the AI craze, just like we saw back in March of this year. Now, also on top of this, Nvidia, one of the biggest companies out there, have been pushing AI forward. And guess what? In January, right around the same exact time that Trump takes office, we know that Nvidia is releasing their 5000 series. Their 5000 series is going to be huge, especially around AI. We already see them, pushing AI around, the 5000 series, which, if we think about this, this is going to release sometime around, January. That's what we're hearing. And I do think that this is going to be a very, very big, I think it's going to be a big catalyst, especially for a lot more focus to be put on Nvidia and also even on the AI sector as well, because I'm sure that they're going to say, with this new graphics card, we're going to be able to do things that we never thought, imaginable. It's going to, support and push AI forward, because even here we have unlocks breakthroughs in generative AI and delivers the performance required to meet the challenges of today's professional workflows. So again, they're already kind of marketing around AI. So this is definitely going to provide a big catalyst for that. And even right now, if we actually go over here to AI crypto, we could see that the interest in the US in the past 5 years, AI crypto is becoming a big, big hot topic. Even at the beginning of this month, prior to, of course, the sell-off and the pullback, it was one of the most searched terms around this space. And even over here, AI stocks. AI stocks are a big thing right now as well. Not as much as back in like February or so and March, but I do think that they are going to pick up greatly as well with, this pro crypto and pro AI admin taking office in 2025, combined with what Nvidia is pushing. And even if you go and look at some of the other companies as well, they're starting to push AI products heavily. So this narrative it's already brewing right now. And this is where I think that most of the money this cycle is actually going to be made. Also, in terms of artificial intelligence, this has kind of been a stagnant term since going all the way back to, April of like 2023. So I'm waiting for this to actually return in a big way, which we should see, leading into 2025 as well. And also, as we really think about the AI sector around crypto, the reason why I do think everyone should have some exposure to this sector is because of just how much money is involved around this space. I mean, AI agents right now are becoming a big deal. And, I do think that we are going to see a very large rally around the AI space, much bigger than what anyone really kind of thought possible. Right now, the market cap around the AI narrative in crypto is about 52.28 billion. The last amount of volume that we have recorded here in terms of all-time highs is about roughly 5.39 billion. And we could see the top gainers on the left as well, which is Tau, Token, and 0x0. Now, when we think about this, what are 10 projects that I'm really kind of looking at? Well, some of these are familiar if you have watched my previous videos, but I'm also going to sprinkle in some very, very low cap potential altcoins that are based around the AI narrative, around the AI agent narrative as well. Now, real quick, before we go over these 10 projects, I just want to say this is not financial advice. Know your risk. A lot of these are risky opportunities because they are low caps. They're not really on major exchanges just yet. So just be aware of that. Know your risk. You could always lose your money in crypto. This is investing. Outside of this, let's actually talk about these 10 projects. Number one is Spectre. I've been talking about Spectre for a while. I've actually been talking about Spectre all year. If we go all the way back here to roughly April of 2024, this thing started to break out. Now, I was mentioning Spectre right around like roughly $1 or so. This thing, went to like $3 plus back in April. Recently, it was trading at around roughly $6. I mean, this thing has been on fire. Now we're starting to have a little bit of a sell-off, but look at the market cap for this thing. Fully diluted value, 37, almost $38 million. This thing has a tremendous amount of upside potential to it, in my opinion, especially considering the fact that it is not listed on any major exchanges. It's only on Uniswap right now and BVOX, but I've never actually heard about BVOX, so I can't really, say, hey, that's a pretty good exchange. I would argue that the only, good space to actually get this is on Uniswap, which I know that a lot of people don't like using DEXs, but hey, if you really got in on this around $1 or even, sub $1, this thing has been on fire lately. And I do think that it is going to continue, especially with what they are pushing. Their product offering is solid. The devs have been hard at work. We've been following them on X for a while, and the tokenomics on this project are incredible as well. Outside of Spectre, Demitra. So I have been looking into this project for a while. The chart looks absolutely killed when you look at the all-time chart, but this thing launched at one of the worst times in the market, right at the end of the 2021 bull market. This thing launched and it's just been downhill since. But in the last year, this thing has been doing some nice moves. I mean, if we really kind of look at it, it was flat leading up to about roughly February and even April of 2024 this year. And even right now, it's just kind of consolidating. It's waiting to have that big move happen yet again. And with the overall tokenomics here, fully diluted value of roughly $42 million. Again, upside is tremendous on some of these projects. And this is a project that has been pushing some very solid updates over on X. Definitely follow them on X. And the team has been hard at work, just like Spectre. A lot of these projects also have docs teams, which is very good. They're, very transparent. And they do have, solid, viable products around the AI space, which is a big issue with a lot of these AI projects around crypto promising, hey, we're an AI project. And then you look at their product offering and it's like, where's the AI products? Do they have anything to offer? Majority of them don't. They're just all hype, all speculation. These projects, a lot of them do have, a nice product offering, and Demitra is one. Now, on top of this, Griffin. So Griffin has been killing it lately. This one is actually on some solid exchanges out there. Mexi is the choice for me personally, but again, it's up to you guys. It is on some other ones, but for the most part, these are like the main ones. BitGet is a solid one. I know that a lot of people love BitGet. Outside of that, like I said, Mexi, Gate.io, KuCoin. A lot of these definitely are harder to get if you are in the US. But hey, you could always use a DEX. And the good thing about this is that it is on Solana. So a lot cheaper fees than Ethereum, for example. But this thing has been ranging sideways. I've been watching it closely. It's been a project that I've been mentioning in the Discord as well. And I do think that this thing, considering the overall supply, the market cap isn't as low as these other ones. Fully diluted value of roughly $233 million. It did have a recent launch. So it is a newer project, but they have been killing it. And they continue to get listed on some major exchanges. And I do think that that is going to be a big deal leading into, of course, 2025, because, it does have a lot more retail access to it. But also Griffin is pushing some solid products. The team has also been pushing a lot of updates as well. And I do think that this is one that everyone should look into. Outside of this, AITE. AITE is a project that I've also been following this year. Back in March, it did hit roughly 40 cents. Right now, it's sitting at about roughly sub 9 cents. It's just been ranging sideways. And it's actually been I've been waiting for this thing to actually break over the upper trend line if we are talking about TA. Very similar to like Spectre, right? Had that nice run, then it sold off, right? Right now, AITE is kind of at, if we're looking at Spectre, this point here in September, before the biggest move happened. You could see it on this chart right now. We look at the all-time chart. This is what the all-time chart looks like. Again, fully diluted value, roughly 180 million. I do think that this is a project that could hit the high billion-dollar plus market, simply because of the tech behind it. The product offering here for AITE is also very solid. I do think that these are some of the possible blue chip AI projects that could, right now they're not blue chips, right? Nobody really knows about some of these projects, but they are slowly morphing into blue chips that people will know the name of. And I do think that AITE is one of them. Also, by the way, this one is on some very large exchanges out there. So again, you can get this on, some pretty good exchanges. But I do think that a lot of these will be listed on some, larger exchanges throughout the coming year. But by that point, I do think that it will be too late to actually get into them. But considering AITE's overall chart here, I wouldn't be surprised to see this thing trading at, $1 plus. I don't think that that would surprise me at all. And I do think that the upside potential on AITE is also very solid, very similar to these other ones. Outside of this, M87, Messier. This one is doing incredibly well for a micro cap, essentially. It is sitting at about roughly a $67 million fully diluted value. Again, tokenomics are pretty solid. This one on the all-time chart has been doing insane numbers. And you might say, well, Nick, it already ran, right? Because in the past year, it is up over 3,900%. But we got to remember that this thing is up this percentage off of very significant lows, and the market cap for it is still very ripe for upside potential. Right now, it is ranging. It had that nice pullback. I do expect this one to break out in a big way. Also, it's not on major exchanges just yet. I do think that this is going to get listed, especially with the events that they're pushing, the updates that they're pushing as well. I mean, if you go and check out some of these projects over on X, they are starting to grow significantly, and they have a lot left to actually push. I do think that this is going to be a big winner. I think everyone should do a little bit more research, obviously, beyond what I'm telling you guys, but I do think that M87 is one that you should, I think that this is one that you should have on the watch list. At least put it on your watch list. Do a little bit more research. A lot of these projects, I really do think that after doing just an hour of research, you'll come to realize that these have incredible potential for what they're offering. Outside of M87, though, we also have Neural AI. Again, if we look at the 1 year, this thing has been chopping in that very similar pattern. Just like back here with AITE, you could see that similar pattern. It's kind of, it's smaller, obviously, on this chart, but you can see what I mean, right? You have that nice high, it chops to the downside, retest a significant supply zone, and then it finally has that big breakout. A lot of these charts look very similar to that. This one has had a breakout, but again, it is sitting at about roughly 108 million. If we're thinking about the AI narrative returning in a big way, some of these projects will have a much larger move in this market that will surprise a lot of people on how high they go. I mean, if we're thinking about this market hitting a $5 to $7 trillion market cap, or potentially even 10 trillion, then some of these projects could hit multiple billion-dollar market caps, which from the lows right now, or from the levels that they're trading at right now, that upside potential is pretty good in terms of ROI. But definitely check out this project as well. Kind of becoming a blue chip in my opinion. So definitely keep a close eye on this one as well. Now, also Palm AI. I have been mentioning Palm AI quite a bit throughout the year. And again, you can kind of see that pattern. We have yet to break over the previous high from roughly March, which is good for us because I do expect it to do so. So far, we have created a macro higher high going off of the highs from roughly May, which is very good for structure. And I do think that this one also has a tremendous upside potential on it because it is listed on some good exchanges, nothing too crazy. I mean, Mexi and like Gate.io. So it does have a lot of listing opportunity, but also the product offering around Palm AI, very similar to PALAI, which is the next one, which we will be talking about. It's very good, right? Again, it goes back to the whole idea of, do these AI projects actually have a product offering? Are they solving any issues? And yes, Palm AI is very similar to, Pal AI. We still have that. We're still kind of looking at AI agents as a big deal. Some of these projects are definitely hitting that narrative in a big way. But again, we really kind of look at product offering and is it quality? Palm AI has been building around this space for a while. And I do think that considering how solid the team has been, how interactive the team has been with the community as well, and the updates that they have been pushing, I do think that this one is on its way to becoming a blue chip in this space as well. Outside of Palm AI, though, like I said, we do have Pal AI. Pal AI right now is chopping. Guys, it's consolidating, waiting for that next big move. This project has been announcing some very solid moves. The market cap for this is much higher, obviously, but that's because Pal AI has been absolutely killing it. This is a project that I've been following for basically all of 2024, simply because of the product offering. They have been announcing some very solid partnerships. Here we have one with IBM, for an example. I do think that, if you wanted to get into a project that does have lower risk and higher, ROI versus like the top 100, top 200, then Pal AI is definitely one that you should be looking into. I actually think that this one recently jumped up into like the 200 area. It's at 271, but that's still, there's still a lot more upside potential for Pal AI to really kind of have before it breaks into like the top 100. So definitely keep a close eye out on this one, because I do think that this is probably a much lower risk opportunity with a tremendous upside potential. Now, two that have a lot of risk tied to them simply because of how newer they are, and also how low cap they are. Paladin AI, PALAI, if you will, but I just call it Paladin AI because that's what it is called. I think that they recently rebranded actually to so they're still on the Paladin AI. They rebranded the logo. That's what they rebranded. I knew that they changed something. I thought it was the name, but no, it's actually just a logo. This thing has been pretty flat. And you might say, well, Nick, this thing looks horrible, right? Although, yes, it does on CoinMarketCap, it's because it doesn't have the full chart from like Dex Tools. If you go and look at Dex Tools, it's a completely different view. I have been charting it in the Discord as well. I do think that this one, once it does officially have a breakout, it's going to be very, very substantial. And the reason why I say that is because look at the market cap for this one. Fully diluted value, 2.19 million. Again, you don't have to risk a lot of money for these lower cap projects simply because, the upside potential on them could be very, very significant. I mean, we've watched meme coins go from like $2 million to $2 billion. So when we have something like Paladin that is pushing products and they are interacting with the community in a big way, I do think that the upside potential for a lot of these AI projects are very significant when they are pushing and developing and they're working. And by the way, they recently announced revenue streams as well, which is a big deal considering the fact that if we go back over here to the top projects, 0x0, which was also dropped in the Discord, we're talking about back in like, I want to say like the middle of 2023. Guys, 0x0 was and is one of the largest movers of this cycle so far. It was dropped in the Discord by I Am One, and he absolutely crushed this call because it hit like 50 cents. But this is a revenue sharing project. If we actually look at the about section, you could see that it has that unique revenue sharing model tied to it. Paladin, in my opinion, could be just as big as 0x0 now that they are pushing this. And like I said, they are working with some of the biggest players in this space already. So definitely focus on Paladin AI at this market cap, because I do think that people fading these projects are going to regret it in a very short amount of time. This one is only on Uniswap, so you have to suffer the ETH gas fees, but it is what it is, right? Outside of Paladin AI, another one that you have to suffer the gas fees with is Orbit AI. Now, Orbit AI, again, tokenomics for this thing, market cap, fully diluted value, 3.2 million, 10 million total supply. Guys, I do think that this one is extremely fresh. I mean, it is very fresh. It launched at the beginning of December. But I do think that this one, with what they are pushing around it's the AI agent narrative, right? They're allowing individuals to actually rent and create AI agents, creating not only revenue streams, in a legitimate way, in a very, when we really kind of look at, is this thing a long-term project? Is this going to, last? Because when we think about revenue sharing, a lot of the times it doesn't make sense. We're like, where's this money coming from? Well, with Orbit AI, we're going to see the AI agents being able to be rented. We're going to see a lot of that revenue, split up, obviously, but it is going to go back to those that are actually creating the AI agents on this platform. I do think that Orbit AI has a long-term view in front of it. I also think that, when we think about the AI agent narrative becoming so red hot, we've been hearing about Franklin Templeton talking about it. We've been, seeing institutions taking a very, very big interest in the AI narrative around crypto as well. I do think that some of these projects like Orbit AI, they're going to become very, very big players in this space. I mean, a 10x from here, $32 million market cap, it makes sense. A 100x from here, $320 million market cap, that also makes sense to me. That's the potential that some of these altcoins can have that are pushing solid AI products. They have a plan in front of them. They have a roadmap that they've been hitting, targets. That's the big thing for me, right? If a team is delivering and they're hitting targets on their roadmap, it gives me the confidence behind some of these projects. And Orbit AI has been one that so far has been delivering. So I'm definitely going to keep a close eye on this. Again, the risk is much higher on some of these lower cap projects because of, the fact that they're only on Uniswap. They're very new, they're early. But being early sometimes does pay off in a big way. Sometimes, hey, things happen. They could crash and burn. But I do think that, some of these projects definitely have a ton of potential tied to them. Do your research. Make sure that you guys know the risk and understand the risk. I'm not giving out financial advice here, but these are 10 projects that I do think that people should be looking into, especially with the AI narrative picking back up and with what's going to be happening in 2025 as well. So with that being said, I hope that you guys enjoyed this video. If you guys definitely leave a like, subscribe, to notifications on. If you guys want more free content, you guys are more than welcome to follow me on Twitter and join the free Discord in the description below. And with that being said, guys, it's been Nick. Thanks for watching. Peace out.